What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a brand new 2026 Tesla Model Y long range that we're going to be doing 20% ceramic and Geoshield C2 Ceramic on every window on this vehicle except for the sunroof. So I've already started tinting. The customer dropped the car off last night. I didn't really film much, but I've already completed the back quarter windows and back window here. I'm not sure if you can really tell the difference. Tesla glass is like 23.5% from factory tint. It's stained glass though, it's not like window film. So I've already done the quarter window. You can tell it's just a little bit darker. And then the back window, can't really see in at all, but you can still see out at night. So 20% or 15% is a really great combo for privacy and nighttime visibility. Right here, I've just started on the passenger side front window here. And you know what time it is. Grab your energy drink, your coffee, your water, soda, whatever. Smash that subscribe button and enjoy the video. One thing I was thinking about in here is, would I bring my car to a guy that tints and wraps in a garage? Probably not, but would I bring it to myself? Yes, and I want to tell you why. So on these quarter windows right here, I'm not cutting on your glass, right? They're stainless steel knives. It's relatively safe for glass because it's not too thick like a carbon steel blade. That's going to cut the glass 100%. But what I do is I put a glass aid tape around here, so it helps me see the border, and then it protects the glass, so the knife cuts into the tape, not the glass. When I do the rear windows, I use a clear plastic button between the film and the knife, so that way my knife blade is on the plastic button, not on the glass, so you don't get those cut marks all around your windows. Another thing I do to keep your Tesla safe is I completely remove the door panel. They come off in like 2 minutes. It's super easy. And then I wrap it in a towel because the soapy water that we use to tint windows, it's called slip solution, that can stain your interior. If you have like a fabric interior, it's just gonna soak it up and get all wet. Like I see so many tinters, they're just fire hosing it all on. Everything's getting wet. Like, oh, we'll wipe it down. It'll be okay. Like, it'll look okay, but like all that water's in your electronics. Like, is that gonna cause issues down the road? I don't want to find out, and I don't want you to find out. So I do everything extremely safe. I'll show you my whole windshield setup here. Like I go over the top because we don't want water getting in the dash and ruining electronics and just making everything stink. Like just think about your fabric just soaked in water and then it's baking in the sun. It's just going to smell like a wet dog in there, and you don't want that. So that's why I would bring the vehicle, or a Tesla mostly, to me, because I own Teslas. I have a Model Y and a Model S Plaid. I've done a million of these things. I'm super careful. Like, yes, I want the tint to look good. That's the top priority. But the other top priority is keeping your vehicle safe. We don't want gaskets all cut up and everything. Like, let me show you this. So I just use a Sharpie right here. I don't know if you can see that. Instead of just cutting it up on the glass and scratching the glass and cutting up the rubber seals, I put it on a Sharpie and then I cut it on my glass board right there. So all the cutting is done on that peel board. Another thing for that peel board is I peel the liner off of there so it doesn't, like the static creates when you peel that liner off, it doesn't suck all the dust and dirt in. So we do everything clean and safe on that glass board. So that's why you should bring your Tesla to Starbase Wraps if you're in Las Vegas. So let's go ahead and start this video and tint a Tesla. All right, so here's what I'm talking about right here is that Sharpie line I made on the car. And then I just used my ruler right here because this is a straight edge. It's not like it's a curved gasket or anything crazy like that. So we do all the cutting on this glass cut board right here. And then I just guide my knife down right there against this ruler. And look at that. Now your gasket's not all cut up, your window's not all scratched up. And we got a perfectly straight edge. We're not just guessing and having our knife wiggle all around the place. I am getting a plotter. I got a Graphtec 42-inch plotter that's coming on Tuesday. So after tomorrow, all my future window tints will all be computer cut on a plotter. So it's going to save a lot of time. And then I don't even have to use a knife at all for anything. I just cut it on the computer, shrink the film to the curvature of the window, and stick it on. So we're going to be soonly increasing capabilities here at Starbase Wraps. Yeah, there's a big scratch in the film right here, but this is all getting cut off, so no big deal there. And then one question I get that's like more often than I thought is, how did you get into window tinting? And that's a good question. So how I got into window tinting was I wanted 5% on my vehicle, my Plaid, But a couple shops I went to were like, oh, we only do 15%. And I was like, what? I was like, 15% is still illegal tint, right? Here in Nevada, you can only have, I think it's 30 or 35% on the front windows. But I mean, everyone has, you know, pretty much limo tint here because 120 degrees in the summer. So it's not a big deal here, but I want a dark tint. My car drives itself. I don't need to see every little thing at night, and I don't really drive at night anyway. So I was like, well, how hard could tinting be? It looks, you know, you just get the window wet and stick it on. It doesn't look that hard. Come to find out, it's extremely hard if you want it done good. I mean, if you don't care and you want, you know, dust and stuff all in your tint, it's fine, but that's not good enough for me. I'm a bit OCD, so it has to be perfect. So I went ahead and I bought a roll of film, and I went through that whole roll of film I had a Model 3 Performance. I went through that whole roll, watching YouTube videos and figuring it out. It probably took me a whole weekend just to do one car, because I mean, this is my first time. I had no idea what I was doing. So that's kind of what started me doing it. I didn't have any plans to like start a business or anything. But then I'm in the Air Force right now, and I'm retiring this year. I'll be retired in a few months. And I was like, you know what? I need an exit strategy for this thing. And that was probably 2 years ago. And then I just started doing vehicles for dirt cheap and vehicles for friends and family and coworkers and all that stuff. And then come to find out, I was actually pretty good at it, and they were impressed by the results. So I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just, you know, do a vehicle on the weekend or something, maybe do like 2 vehicles a month just for some practice and stuff like that. And then after like my 3rd vehicle, like people just started calling. I made a comment on a yard sale page, and then people were like, oh man, I need tint. Can you tint my vehicle? Can you tint my vehicle? And then I did. And so like pretty much 3 months after I learned how to tint, I mean, the customers didn't stop when I was doing a vehicle every Saturday and every Sunday, until I went to Kenya in April. And let me just concentrate here, there we go. Until I went to Kenya in April, and so for almost a full year, I was just doing 2 vehicles every weekend. Sometimes I do 2 vehicles in a day, like a pickup truck. Those go pretty quick. So yeah, that's kind of what got me started. And then when I got back, I did so many Teslas. I just kept doing them. So that's kind of how I got started. All right, so this right here is the shrinking process. Typically, you don't have to do this on most SUVs and pickup trucks. Some pickup trucks require a little bit of shrink, but the Tesla glass is pretty curved compared to other vehicles. Even some sedans don't really need a shrink, but these are curvy windows, so we're gonna go ahead and shrink that. So now what I'm doing is I'm just creating a pocket right here. So I've tacked the outside border on, and then I'm gonna squeegee all this down, and then there'll be some fingers that pop up. And those are the fingers that we need to shrink. There's a couple different ways you can shrink windows. You can pocket shrink, all kinds of stuff. I just like to do it this way. I know there's faster ways and all that, but I'm not trying to be the fastest tinter in the world. I want to be the most quality tinter for Teslas. So this is how I do it. Just use a heat gun here. You can kind of see those fingers that pop up. So that's pretty good. What you don't want is a bunch of, like, this is okay, but you don't want like a bunch of fingers on that top edge. So go ahead and shrink these out real quick. And on that note of quality too, like, I'm not doing, 5, 6, 7 vehicles a day. Like, if I have your car, that's all I'm doing. So I'm not trying to rush stuff and get stuff out and, kind of half-ass it, if you will. I really want it to be as perfect as possible. So that's another benefit of bringing your car to Starbase Wraps. Like, I don't have a million customers. They're like, oh, it's like, man, what was that one show with the motorcycles where they're like, we got to completely build this motorcycle in 4 days. Like, that's not what I want. Quality. Like, I don't care about speed. It's going to be a same day appointment, but like, I'm not going to do it in an hour because it takes me longer. I'm just one guy. So I'm more worried about quality than speed. But, you know, you can kind of see here when I'm shrinking this, the fingers are getting a little bit smaller each time. Usually you have to do this like 2 or 3 times. Get all these little fingers shrunk out of here, and that's okay. So these ones right here, I'm just gonna guide these down. We'll just guide those right down there. And then you can kind of see how that one popped up there. So we'll go ahead and shrink that out. This is probably the hardest part about window tinting is the shrinking process, because it's so easy to screw up the film. You can burn the film, you can crease the film. Used to happen to me like all the time when I would do windshields. I'd have to do like 2 or 3 attempts. But side windows aren't too bad, but like I said, they are pretty curved compared to other vehicles. So we'll go ahead and push these out right here. And even if you're installing, like once I go to stick it on the inside of the window, like if a little finger pops up, it's not the end of the world. You can still shrink in the inside of the vehicle, but that's another reason why I removed the gasket and the door panel, because I want to see the bottom edge. I don't just want to run my tri-edge through there and guess that it's stuck down and then, you know, it peels up after a month. So this is a lifetime warranty tint. But, you know, the installation is not warranted by the manufacturer, so that's my ability, right? And I stand by my work. If it's messed up, like, I'm gonna fix it. It happened a few times when I was first starting out, you know. There was times where like, hey, you know, there's a crease here, whatever, like if you want, I can refund you, or we can just redo it. No big deal. But now it's pretty good. I've done probably 100 Teslas now, and like I've been doing it almost 3 years now. There we go. Yep, that's looking pretty good. And again, like experience is going to kind of dictate the price. Like, you know, there's professional shops with a big garage and all that stuff. If you take your Tesla there for the, you know, same quality of tint, you're going to be paying probably $1,200 to $1,500. And rightfully so, right? They've got overhead, they've got employees, they've got a lease to pay. Where me, it's just me. All you have to do is buy the film and install it. So I get to charge, you know, I'm charging $700 for a full Model Y. And then if you have a Model 3, I do $750 for the sides and the full rear window. Windshields are $200 for the S, Y, and 3. So that's kind of my pricing. The windshields are probably on par with most shops, but like it's extremely hard, and I don't want to do it for free, basically, right? So that's why the windshields are so expensive. Because one, you got to look through the thing every day, so you don't want it all jacked up. And two, it takes about an hour for me anyway to do a whole windshield, because you got to clean the window, you got to shrink the film, you got to clean the inside of the window perfectly, right? And then you have to install that big piece of film. And film's expensive, so that's why it costs $200 for a windshield. But not everybody is all about quality, right? They might, oh well, this guy does it for $100. It's like, cool. Have a bunch of water go into your electronics and get a subpar quality tint. I mean, that's up to you. Most Tesla owners they want quality stuff, but like sometimes I'll get a call about an Altima, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna go get AutoZone tint and waste a whole Saturday. You know what I mean? It doesn't do anything. So I just like doing Teslas. They're cool vehicles, they drive themselves, all the technology's there. So, you know, I'm not doing Lambos and all that stuff. I don't really have any desire to do any of that. I just like doing these Teslas. So now this window is shrunk. We got a little small fingers up here. Don't even worry, it's not a big deal. Now, if like this was coming all the way down here and I had a bunch of them, it would probably have to peel it off, reseal it, and, you know, reshrink any remaining fingers that pop up. But this will be good. So now what I'm going to do is bring this over to my peel board. I'm going to clean the inside of the window, and then we'll install the film. So here we go. I'm going to start prepping to clean the inside of this windshield. I haven't done anything yet. So what I do, I'll give it a quick little spray. 1, 2, that's it. You don't have to fire hose the thing. And then what I do first is I scrub pad it. So I'm gonna take my scrub pad right here. And then I like to do this top edge really good because sometimes the tint can touch against that and we don't want it to pick up dirt. Because there's a little valley on the top of this window because it's laminated glass. All laminated glass will have a little valley on the top edge here and the sides. And it picks up dirt. It's just natural, it happens. So what I do is I scrub that really good. And I'm gonna do a quick scrub on the windshield. And again, I'm not going for speed. There's some guys that are just squeegee stick it on, you know, but like you're gonna get a couple little bubbles of contamination if you do it that way. But again, it's all based on the price people want to pay. Like if you don't want top quality results, then it's going to be a cheaper price. But that's not for me. I don't want to do like budget or subpar work. I want it to look good. It's got the name Starbase Wraps on it. I don't want it to be like, oh yeah, that's the $50 paint guy or whatever. There's shops that can do that, you know. If you got a beater, it's probably not the worst decision. But you got a brand new $60,000 car. You really want to, go budget with your window film? Probably not. Okay, so that was just a quick scrub. Now I can assess the window here and kind of see, like, this is a brand new car, but I've seen it all. There's been like dog slobber stuck on windows. There's been boogers and kids' food and fingerprints and all that stuff. So I just like to give it a quick scrub so I can see what I'm working with. There was a dog bed in the car, so that's why I'm being extra kind of vigilant with this window here. So everything's looking pretty good. I don't see scratches or any craziness going on. So we'll give it a quick little spray here. And again, with the safety part of it too, like I use a plastic razor blade. Like there is no way plastic is gonna scratch the window. So this just gets any little stuff that might be stuck on the window that's not gonna come off with the scrub pad. Is this necessary? Absolutely not. But I don't wanna chance anything or, have a big bubble in the middle of the window because I was trying to be fast. Again, like I said, we're going, yep, you hear that? That's how we do it. There's a little tiny thing stuck on the window there. All right. And then kind of going back how I got into tinting, so right now, I'm going to be a retired Chief Master Sergeant, the highest enlisted rank in the military. I've got a master's degree in health science. And what did I decide to do with all the leadership skills and degrees and all that stuff? Put stickers on cars. I don't want to work for people. I like cars. I've been a car guy my whole life. I've had all kinds of cool cars that I've raced with and made look cool and all that stuff. And I just like hanging out in my garage and making people's Teslas look awesome. Keep them cool in the summer with ceramic tint, keep them protected with ceramic coatings and PPF, and then change it up with the vinyl wrap. Like, there's only 5 Tesla colors, so if you have white or gray or whatever, you go to Costco, there's a million Teslas. But if you have like a green Tesla or an orange Tesla or pink or whatever, you'll know what car is yours in the Costco parking lot. And another cool thing they have right now is color paint protection film. So you get the protection of a paint protection film and the color change of a vinyl wrap. The only downside is it's extremely expensive, just like PPF. So it all depends on what you're doing, right? Like if you're leasing a Tesla for 3-4 years, vinyl wrap's the way to go. But if you're, and I'm guilty of this too, like I'm gonna own this car forever, and then like 3 years later I'm getting a different car. People say that all the time, like, I'm keeping this forever, and then they're gonna come out with something else that you want. So it all depends on what your decision's gonna be with your Tesla. The clear PPF, like that gloss PPF, man, it makes it look so glossy. I did a blue Model Y Performance and a red Model Y Performance, and man, like, it's just night and day how much more glossy it looks. And then you never have to worry about swirls because it self-heals in the sun. It's hydrophobic, so it's gonna clean off really easy. But there's so many cool things you can do with your Tesla to keep it looking good. But the number one thing is what I'm doing right here, ceramic tinting the windows. It is too freaking hot here in Las Vegas to not have tint. And I see so many Teslas like, dude, you are driving in a fishbowl right now. How are you not like baking in your car? Gotta get some ceramic tint on there. And the cool thing about ceramic tint is I could put clear film on this so you'd never know there's tint on here, but you get all the heat rejection benefits because ceramic particles for the most part are clear. Might be like slightly blue because the tungsten oxide is the primary element or the chemical in the ceramic, but it's going to look clear. You don't have to go limo tint to get more heat rejection. I mean, you might get a 2% more heat rejection, but you're not going to be able to feel that. So, all kinds of options out there. This guy, like, he's doing it right. 20%, 50% windshield, like, that is the perfect combination for privacy, nighttime visibility, performance, all that stuff. So good. When I had my Model Y, or my Model 3, I put 20% on the windshield. I don't know how I didn't get pulled over with that, but it didn't really affect my nighttime visibility too much, to be honest. But it looked crazy. You couldn't even see in the car at all because I had 5% rear and sides with the 20% windshield. But 50% is pretty good. I think it's perfect. Some people want 35%. That's a good option too. But I think 50% is the best all around percentage for a windshield. I like it dark though, so I just go 5% on everything. Can I see anything at night? Absolutely not. I gotta roll my windows down to pull into my garage because it's kind of tight. But it looks cool, and like I said earlier, the car drives itself, so whatever, right? Put it in FSD and send it. On the windshield tint too, the tint does not go over the camera, so you don't have to worry about that. Like, it doesn't even go around there, just I cut around it, so I don't know if you can see on camera, but there's a big black border around the camera. That's where the tint goes, so you don't have to worry about any of your, driving aids being affected by your window tint. So now our window's all prepped. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and spray this off. I'm gonna go grab the film real quick. And this is Frankenstein right here. So we are Frankenstein in this. So just kind of walk with your hands out. And then we're just gonna put that right on there. And then getting it, these mirror gaskets can be tricky sometimes, just fishing it in there. Come on. There we go, all right. Slide that down just a little bit. There we go. Now we just gotta go forward, down just a little bit. Bring this down and up. Make sure everything's looking good. Top edge as close as we can without going over. All right, sweet, that looks awesome. So now I'm gonna do my soft pass squeegee and my hard pass squeegee. Put a towel down. I really like the orange crush for the soft pass. Just a little bit. There we go. Yeah, that's about perfect right there. Okay, we're gonna run this down, and again, I'm not pushing with all my might. We're just tacking the film onto the glass. Man, look at that. Whew, that's a top edge right there. Right, and then I'm gonna get my tri-edge real quick. There we go. I'll get that down in there. All right, now I can finish kind of squeegeeing all this out right here. Good. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and do it with my hard pass. This is going to get all the remaining water bubbles out of the tint. Well, most of the remaining water bubbles out of the tint. So we'll go ahead and squeegee that down. Yep, and I can see those bubbles on the leading edge of my squeegee, so I know it's working. All right, very good, very good. So then we're going to push really hard. There's little tiny water pockets that get stuck in there, but we're getting most of them pushed out of there. That way this tint will cure nice and quickly. Very, very good. Let's see, we got a little tiny guy right there. Gone. We'll give another pass on our gasket here. There we go. This gasket wasn't too bad. Sometimes they are super, super tight. But yeah, we don't have any fingers popping up or anything. Yeah, I can tell I'm gonna have to shave this edge a little bit. We got a little too close, that's okay. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah. That's another thing I see a lot of, like, it's mostly just tinters that care about it. But like, they talk about shaving edges and filing edges, and like, I think tinters are the only ones that really care about that. There we go. Let's see if we can find that little piece. Yeah, so this, I don't know if you can see it, but this little piece right here was just hanging off, so that would create some issues. It would get stuck in the gasket and peel up over time. And now it's perfectly flush. So what I do is I just use my finger, and if the film lifts up, you know you went over. So we'll just give it a good test with our finger here. Yeah, and we're good to go. So now that I shaved this, I'm gonna go ahead and just give it a quick press. You don't want it lifting up or dust getting in there or anything. But man, this thing came out fantastic. Couldn't ask for that to go on any better. And let's see how the rear windows are looking. So 95.3% of infrared heat rejection, and metering in at 19.4 on the back. And on the front, we have about 94% infrared heat rejection and 18. So these windows are less than 2% difference. The human eye can't distinguish anything less than 5%. So these are perfectly matched. I'll keep them nice and cool this summer when it gets 120 degrees here in Las Vegas. All right, and we are on the final window for this tint job. We're going to do the windshield. Shrinking the windshield is going to be the hardest part about this entire job. You can see there's quite a lot of fingers on there. So we're going to have to shrink that because the windshield is curved this way and this way. It's almost like doing half a basketball, but not quite that intense. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to speed up the video, then I'll probably voice over it while I'm doing it. So let's get started. And right here is the hardest part about installing window tint is the shrinking process. So right here I'm shrinking this windshield. You can tell how much it's curved by how many and how big the fingers are on here. If you are a window tinter, one thing to note on these Teslas is you want to shrink the corners before you shrink the middle. Because if you shrink the middle first, you're going to be all bunched up in the corner and you're going to get creases. You're going to be fighting it. It's just no fun. So kind of watch how I'm shrinking this here. I'm always doing the corners before I go out to the center of the film. And the bottom part, like this is Geoshield C2 Ceramic. It shrinks like butter. I mean, just look at the way this stuff shrinks. So you always see I'm starting on the side and then working my way towards the middle. Trying to keep everything relatively aligned. That's why I keep going back and forth. I don't want to shrink like a quadrant, like completely. I like to keep it relatively level. But you can kind of see there how that corner's completely shrunk, and now I'm working the middle. Then I'm going to do the other side. That corner's completely shrunk. Now I'm doing the middle. And we have ourselves a shrunk window film. And right here I'm doing a reverse roll. That's where you spray the liner and the adhesive, put the liner back on and roll it up. And then I'm going to roll it on here. For this install I used Instagel for the first time because I usually have a little bit of trouble getting that window film to stick right here initially like I'm doing, but it actually helped out quite a bit. I didn't shake it up, so that was probably my bad. There was like a little tiny smudge that I was able to work out, but yeah, I mean, overall, pretty good. Just squeegeeing everything down. I didn't have any fingers pop up or anything crazy like that. You can see all the towels and everything is protected and dry. Squeegeeing everything down right here, and then I use a towel to get that top edge so water doesn't flow back. And right here, you can see me pull out that soak rope. That's really important to keep the dash safe. And this 2026 Tesla Model Y is all ceramic tinted up. We did 50% on the windshield and 20% on the rear and sides. It did have factory tint, so we went ahead and put 75% on the rear and side doors. That way it would perfectly match. And always, we hooked the customer up, right? We gave him a quick vacuum. I completely washed the car and hit it with a ceramic detail spray to keep it nice and looking good. We got a personalized thank you card here, premium Rag Company microfiber towel, our Starbase Wraps air fresheners. I've got fresh air and new car smell. People are loving the fresh air air freshener here. Business card, aftercare instructions, and on the back of this is a QR code to register the lifetime warranty, and tint safe invisible glass so he can keep his tint looking nice. And like I said, 20% is a great mix of nighttime visibility and privacy. It's super bright in my garage, but you can see like it's really hard to see inside the car. When you come in, you know, it's pretty easy to see out of. And then the windshield, I mean, it's 50%, so you're not really going to notice any difference from inside the vehicle. And then outside of the vehicle, it just looks a little bit darker. Like you can kind of tell it's not perfectly clear. 50% tint, it's nice. It just takes the edge off during the daytime without affecting your nighttime visibility. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. And if you own a Tesla in the Las Vegas area, you can reach out to me. You can go to starbasewraps.com, send me a text. My phone number's on there. You can send me an email, ben@starbasewraps.com. And I would love to put some ceramic tint on your Tesla. I do 10-year paint protection film. All my ceramic tint comes with a lifetime warranty. We can hook it up with an awesome vinyl wrap to make your Tesla stand out in the Costco parking lot. I also do ceramic coatings, paint correction, and detailing. So whatever you need for your Tesla in Las Vegas, go to starbasewraps.com. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you on the next Tesla video.